So the heart of your, underlying energy is the Seven of Cups. This has a lot to do with making decisions, family, breaking past the smoking mirrors, the Two of Swords, something. Oh, geez, that's interesting. Why is the Two of Swords coming up? The Knight of Wands. These are heartfelt, communication, but yeah, it could be that there's an apology underway. Okay, some things that were needed to be straightened out. I don't know if there was anything a little bit unbalanced between you and a Libra or another Virgo, but there's definitely something here that definitely is getting sorted out this week, or the next couple of weeks rather. Now the heart of your reading, the Five of Wands. So this has to do with some sort of argument, some sort of disagreement. Definitely some turmoil, some conflict for sure. Somebody may have had a certain way of doing something. Someone may not have agreed to it. That goodness. This whole situation can also be internal as well. This doesn't have to have anything to do with anyone else. I kind of get a feeling it is, but this may have to do with someone. It may not have to do with anybody. It could just be in inner turmoil. But the thing is, the reason why, no, not the reason, what's kind of keeping you from resolving this sort of conflict is the Seven of Wands. Somebody is really defensive. I think somebody's trying to make amends or trying to balance everything out, but somebody's extra defensive. I kind of feel like that may be you, Virgo. You may be feeling a little bit on the offense or the defense side. You're ready to just kind of swing and smack people around. I'm just kidding, not really. But you're definitely on defense mode, and it's because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting yourself from more comments, for more turmoil, for some more confrontation, right? It's defensiveness, this protective defensiveness, right? And the Nine of Wands is protective defensiveness too, but that one is definitely putting a wall. You're blocking things, and I think this is more of you don't know if this is going to be an attack or if it's going to be assistance, right? It's defensive. Now in the past you had the Seven of Swords, okay? So you have three sevens total in this reading. All right, everybody's having triple stuff coming up. I believe it was Aquarius that had all the fours in their reading, if not three. It was crazy. But you have 3 sevens in this reading. Magic happens in threes, y'all. And sevens are changes, right? They're really big changes. They're very similar to fives, but the sevens are more of a personal sort of changes that we have that we do within ourselves. And fives are usually changes in how we interact with others, changes in our social life, etc. Sevens, that's how I've learned it and how I've understood fives and sevens to be different. How you see, if you have your own definition of fives and sevens, then that's cool. But how I see them is they're a little bit more personal, because if you notice, this person's picking in their cup, the cup for them. This person is defending themselves. That change is sort of, this conflict here is understanding that they have the advantage and what to do with that advantage, right? And Seven of Swords is change. He's doing something that's uncomfortable, stepping outside of his comfort zone and doing something a little risky here. And I feel like there was definitely a risk taken in the past, though. All right, sevens, period. The fact that they're coming up is pretty daggone significant. But the fact of the matter is that this is very, this person or you may have done something that definitely required a really big risk. You stepped out of your comfort zone. You did something that was definitely unconventional, right? Something that you wouldn't have done otherwise. And I feel like that, or somebody may have ghosted, someone may have disappeared, someone may not have been around for a while, but I don't think this is a ghosting sort of situation. But I do get this feeling that there's definitely some sort of risk that was taken here. I'm not quite sure what the risk is. You'll know what this risk is for your personal situation, but it leads to the Page of Cups, some sort of offer of something, some sort of desire, some sort of, this sort of offer of love, perhaps. But this comes up with the Seven of Cups. I feel like somebody's taking this situation and looking at it with very skeptical eyes. Now, like I was saying before in the very beginning, this Five of Wands doesn't have to be a squabble between you and someone else. It could literally mean that this is an internal turmoil, right? And you're defensive because you haven't really, come to some sort of conclusion or some sort of balance within your mind right now. And I feel like the reason the squabble has to do with this Page of Cups because it may seem a little too good to be true. Now, it doesn't mean it's impossible, but I think it's also a combination of like, okay, this sounds lovely. This sounds like a really great offer, but one, it seems too good to be true, and you don't know if it's exactly what it says it is. So that makes sense why you're defensive about it, right? It makes sense because you don't know if it's actually going to be a legitimate offer, if you're going to go somewhere with it. But the only way you're going to know is by taking a chance, taking the seven of swords, right? The foundation, where you come from, is take a leap of faith. And maybe in the past you may have been avoiding the stuff like that, avoiding offers that sounded too good to be true, but I think this time you're kind of going on your feelings. You're really working on, on being led by your emotions just a little bit more than normal. Just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little. And I feel like this star is really what's interesting to me and really what's kind of pointing out that even though you may not see this offer as exactly legitimate right now, it feels good, it feels right, and therefore you could kind of see where your future can lead with that. The star talks about hope and faith, and faith is knowing. So I feel like the potential for starting something new with this cup is very high, and I think that's why you see this as a star. Some of you guys may see this as a long shot in the dark, like it's a good offer, it sounds sweet, sounds awesome, but what's the likelihood of us getting to that point? I feel like there's a lot of either doubt and a lot of hope, and that's the conflict. Like there's a little bit of a tug and pull, there's a imbalance between you and your belief system, and I think that's the thing. In order for it to know what the future looks or how it's going to turn out, you have to make it happen. You have to create that future for yourself, right? At least try to make it. And I think that's why the Knight of Pentacles is your goal, aim, ambition, and your advice. So take it slow if you need to. Take your time. Take a look at it. Maybe if you want to, just continue to look at the details. Really get to know the other individual. Really kind of understand the ropes and understand what the person's intentions are, right? But the most important thing is that I think you want to take it easy. You want something that's, you want a stable offer, a realistic offer, an offer that you could truly believe in, that you could, definitely say, okay, I could get there. I could definitely envision this, but not just a fantasy sort of kind of thing. I think you want something a little bit more practical, something that makes a little more sense instead of something that's unrealistic and a shot in the dark and just based off complete emotion. What it sounds like is that you're having a Pisces moment in Virgo land, and that is a little bit of a chaotic kind of feel to it. But you guys, your 7th house is Pisces. So when it comes to love, there is this dreamy aspect of it. I think there's a piece of your dreaminess that makes it kind of unrealistic, and you don't really, you don't mean it to be unrealistic, but that's just how it is. Your realisticness can be kind of unrealistic sometimes when it comes to your 7th house, how you relate to people. But that's not a bad thing. It opens the door for you to be able to be imaginative and to be romantic and all those good things. But I feel like this is one of those times. The Knight of Pentacles to me is like, yeah, okay, take your time, look at the details and all that goodness, but do allow yourself to dream. It is okay to definitely dream, and I know it's okay to dream, but it's like, well, there's a certain degree, I'm sure, like a lot of you guys are like, there's a certain degree to dreaming, there's a certain level of dreaming that is acceptable, and in the sense of actually making it come true. And if you go too far left field, we're not. If I wanted to fly, there's no way in hell I could fly. But of course you could. You could fly up an airplane. No, I'm just kidding. But the situation is this. I think this whole thing is about balancing your belief system. It's very interesting with justice coming up, but I don't think it's really an apology now. I feel like this is more of understanding the balance between imagination and practicality, balancing those two things out, because let's be honest, right, we have to have a bit of both. We have to be creative in order to be practical about what this creative idea is. So that said, Knight of Pentacles coming up here, I feel like it's talking about figuring out, not necessarily making sure this is a realistic idea, this is a realistic offer, yada yada yada, being very specific and detail oriented, and being a Virgo, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's necessarily putting on the emphasis of make sure this is a realistic offer, make sure this is this, but I feel like it's like understanding your capabilities of making something fictional a reality, because it happens all the time. Think about it. Everybody makes their little dreams come true in some shape or form. And I feel like this is your opportunity to do that very same thing. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that it's possible too, but it's just hard to see what this imaginative idea or offer, or this dreamy little, segue to something more, what that can potentially grow into, what can it look like? Seven of Pentacles is all about what do you want, and not about how, like, if it's possible for it to manifest. Nothing says that here. Is it possible? Is it possible? The Knight of Pentacles is the only person that asks that, and it's not. And I really don't think that that's its purpose, because with the Seven of Swords there, you could get caught in any moment, right? It's a risk, right? You have to take a chance. It's a chance game with the Seven of Swords. You don't know if you're gonna get all the eggs in one basket. You may lose 3, and you may have 5, or you may have 3, and you may lose the 5. But the point of the whole matter is that you have to take a chance. And this Knight of Pentacles, I feel like, is saying that you may have to just take not necessarily take a chance, but return to this look for solutions rather than reasons to doubt its potential existence, if that makes sense. Because here in your outcome, you have the Two of Wands, because you're looking at different options, looking at options in which to begin your journey, to begin to make this dream a reality, right? Because you're taking the steps to make that thing a happy reality. And I feel like you guys truly want to believe that this is possible, and you are 100% allowed to. You're totally okay with that. It's okay to. Like I said, your 7th house is Pisces. You do have a dreamy portion of you. You have a dreamy area of your of you that that you can tap into. Virgo rising specifically, but hey, everybody has a Pisces element. You're made up of all the signs. So when you say your sun sign, moon, and rising, it doesn't limit all the signs that you have within you. It just may be, it's maybe in a different area, maybe in under a different topic, but you do have dreamy portions of you. So if you have a dream that you want to pursue, definitely do that. And I feel like like I said, it's not about trying to find its validity, but it's trying to figure out how you can make that dream a reality, okay? Because you guys are really good at solution finding and creating different, creating strategies to make things happen. And I've been asking all the earth signs how the setup is, if everybody liked the new setup, because I like it, but I wanted to know if you guys like the setup as well, because I've been on a roll asking all the earth signs, so I might as well ask my beautiful Virgos, see what they think. But yes, I know y'all are going to be honest with me in the comment section. So that's why I have a poll. So you can just tell me you love it, hate it, or indifferent. It's either way. Alright, y'all. But let me go ahead and see what y'all got. Calling in your soulmates. I love it. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. That's what dreaming does, man. Dreaming does. Because if you're like hopeful and you're in love and you're feeling that, you're feeling your dream, and stay optimistic about your love life was underneath the deck there. That is such a powerful manifestation tool. It really is. Yes, your hands, your diligence, your hard work, those are really excellent tools as well. Obviously, you have to have everything, right? You have to have the idea. You have to have the willingness to do the work. You have to have, the perspective behind it, healthy perspectives. You have to have all the elements wrapped in the one basket, and then that's how manifestation is kicked off. It's never just more one or the other. And I think this visualization, this visualization is what's going to help manifest this, this beautiful idea for you, this beautiful relationship. It's awesome. And justice could also indicate marriage too, guys, because not just divorce. And I know a lot of people say it's divorce, but it also can indicate marriage, right? One doesn't just destroy, it can create. Well, okay then. Love who you are is what comes out. Bam! Look at that. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving of all the wonderful things that life has to offer. That's the card that Cancer got. You deserve love, guys. So allow yourself to imagine and to dream and come up with solutions that will help you get to where you want to be. I think you guys are doing that now. I think a lot of this is kind of like a confirmation of that you guys are doing, of what you're doing, kind of like a triple digit sort of thing. Obviously, with the 7s coming up in here, this is definitely the divine and a strong pull. Like, divine timing is definitely part of this whole thing, but it's going to need you and your power to push it through, to be the magician and channel all that energy through to make this a reality. You can love what you want, you can have what you want, you can dream what you want, but you are the only person that can make it a reality. I wish you all the best of luck with that one.